So the holidays are meant to be enjoyed, not just survived. And if you want to eat all the holiday favorites without digestive symptoms, fatigue, bloating, or that terrible guilt afterwards, then today's episode is for you. I'm going to break down the foods to prioritize, how to enjoy your treats without restrictions, and the exact reset plan if you do overdo it. So let's dive in. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Hey friends, welcome back to Gut Fix, where we talk about, eating in a way that supports your body, your energy, and your emotional well-being, especially when life gets busy. And let's face it, when doesn't it get busy, right? So today we're talking about specifically holiday eating because here we are, we're in the holidays. But I want you to be able to do it without regret, without punishment, or without the feeling that you have to be perfect. And so the holidays are filled with nostalgia. They're filled with, family baking and sometimes stressful gatherings and maybe overcommitting, with so many parties and things going on. You may even be traveling. And of course, all the foods that we grew up loving. And what happens for so many of us is that you start trying to be good, you restrict, or you maybe skip a meal, maybe you skip breakfast. And then later in the day, you end up overeating, overindulging, because your body is now in survival mode. You know what? Let's change that this year. So, let's just lovingly call this whole thing out. When you go into a holiday meal, hungry or stressed, or nutrient deprived because you just haven't been eating enough, you're going to overeat. That's your body's way of overcompensating. And it's not because you're weak, it's not because you lack that willpower, but because your body is protecting you. And when you skip breakfast, or when you feel like you're skipping a meal like breakfast and saving calories, what that does to your body is that it spikes your cortisol levels, which messes with your blood sugar. It increases those cravings later on, and it lowers your digestion strength and also your stomach acid. So when you finally do sit down to eat, your brain's like, oh, we finally have food. We better stock up. And instead of your holiday morning, starting it with something like a couple of eggs, some turkey sausage, or maybe you've got some berries and sauteed greens. Breakfast doesn't have to be eggs and all the things that we knew as breakfast. Your body doesn't know what time of day it is. It just knows it needs nutrition. You could even start with a little avocado or with some olive oil. Try some electrolytes before your coffee. Just that one shift alone can reduce your overeating later more than any amount of willpower that you possibly have or think you have, right? And then I want to make this very simple. So I call it the anchor, celebrate, balance plate. So first of all, you want your anchor, your number one, is you want to start with the stabilizers. So you want to start with your proteins, animal proteins, turkey, beef, salmon, whatever you like, start with that as your anchor. And your cooked vegetables, whether it be sweet potato, broccoli, cauliflower, whatever it is that you like, and your healthy fats. Think olive oil, ghee, avocado oil. Did I say avocado oil? Olive oil? All of those things. And that's your anchor. You want to make sure that you have those 3 things in mind, because what that's going to do is that's going to keep you satiated. It's going to calm down your digestion, and it's going to stabilize your blood sugar. And then celebrate. You want to be able to, maybe you want to have some stuffing with it. Maybe you want to have that famous holiday mac and cheese, or a sugar cookie, piece of pumpkin pie. Choose the thing that is actually meaningful to you, and not just kind of throwing it in because it's there, right? Ask yourself, am I really excited to eat this? Or, not just what's sitting there on the counter and I'm going to grab it, right? So be mindful with that, and make it something that you really, really want and really enjoy. And then balancing it out. This is where you help your body. So you can have just a big glass of water afterwards. You could go for a 10-minute light walk. That's going to help your digestion as well. So if you eat a big meal, instead of just sitting around and taking a nap, go for a quick 10-minute walk around the block. Make sure that you go to bed early and get enough rest, and try some herbal tea. This is going to give you, fast, easy support for your body. And then you want to enjoy your food without totally losing yourself, because holidays come oftentimes with pressure to, hey, just come on, go ahead and eat it. Or you used to love eating this way, or something like it's tradition, you have to, right? So let's soften that. Here are phrases that protect you and your body and those relationships. So substitute it with, hey, that looks so good. I'm going to enjoy it just a little bit. Or I'm pacing myself so my stomach doesn't hate me later on. Or, I would love just a small taste of that. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to eat a big chunk of pie if you don't want to. Just have a little small piece of it. You're not denying anything, but you're also choosing based on how you want to feel later. Because in the moment, that immediate gratification sometimes leads us to feeling badly later. And that's when that's not good either. Because, all the stress of quote unquote beating yourself up is more detrimental than eating it in the first place, right? It does a number on your nervous system. And so when you do overdo it, I want to share with you what can happen, or what you can do, actually. Because when it does happen, shaming yourself, that does absolutely nothing. And like I said, that actually does more harm than it does certainly any good, because it doesn't do any good. But the next morning, have yourself a 24-hour reset. Just plan on resetting yourself, making sure that you have some proteins, some greens in the morning. Think about having some turkey leftovers, maybe some roasted vegetables with it. Have some herbal tea or electrolytes before you have that cup of coffee. And then for your midday meal, have some bone broth, sip on that, make some soup, or just a simple protein with veggies. And make sure that you're getting some sort of light movement throughout the day. Just it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go work out and do, total HIIT training or anything like that. Just make sure you're getting just a little bit of movement throughout the day, even if it's just walking further away, parking further away and walking a little bit further. If you want to do some optional support with supplementation, you could try some digestive enzymes with each meal. You could add some magnesium, which is very, very calming for everything, your nervous system, your muscles, everything, and some omega-3s. And, the biggest thing that you can do too is mindset, right, around this whole thing. Because when you're resetting, doesn't mean that you're undoing everything that you did the day before, right? You're just resetting. It means realigning. So, no need for punishment, doesn't do any good. No skipping meals the next day, because that's not good either. And then, no real restriction, because that's just not going to work either. So you just really want some balance the next day, and maybe for the next couple of days. And then you really want to let go of the whole perfection thing. Because, perfect eating is never the goal, whether it's the holidays or just in general, right? Because none of us are perfect. And I'm under no illusion that you or myself are going to eat perfectly 100% of the time. That's not reality. This is called life. But you want to make sure that you are being mindful when you're eating. You're staying present when you're eating. You're in that moment. You're enjoying every bite, not eating it just because it's there, or not just eating it because it's, tradition. You really, really, really want to enjoy your food. That's part of being mindful, right? Actually tasting each one of the flavors and being fully present, being aware of being full, slowing down, because when you slow down and you eat more slowly and you chew and chew and chew, because you should probably do a minimum of 20 chews per bite to make sure that you're helping your digestion, then you will naturally, when you slow down, stop when you're full, right? And that's wellness. And when you get off track, just step back into alignment. It's not, it's not beating yourself up. It's not starving yourself. It's not restricting yourself. Just stepping back into that alignment, one meal at a time. So if you're, if you've been listening along and you're tired of never knowing what's actually causing you to have digestive flare-ups, fatigue, bloating, maybe constipation, diarrhea, the two back and forth, or maybe, you just feel inflamed, then I would love for you to schedule your mini breakthrough session with me. Because what we'll do is we'll take a deep, deep, deep dive into your symptoms, your food triggers, your medical lifestyle, your medical history, your lifestyle, and then what are your ultimate goals? And how do you want to feel? So you can find the link in the show notes below, or you can go to go.wendyhandy.com/breakthrough. That's go.wendyhandy.com/breakthrough. And I would love to get you on a session and let's get you back on track. So if you found this helpful, pass it along, share it with anybody else that you think might get some value. I'd love a comment or a like or a follow on the platform. And until next week, stay happy and stay healthy. Hey friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.